Hi, I'm certified nutritionist Mira Calton.
And I'm Dr. Jason Calton, and welcome to Calton Nutrition Television and our show In Depth, where we explore the stories behind the leaders, visionaries, and innovators changing the world. Now, today we have our good friend, Dr. Trevor Cates, on with us. She was the first woman licensed as a naturopathic doctor in the state of California. Now, that's pretty impressive
cool in and of itself.
In and of itself. But she was also appointed by Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger as the first to the board of the Naturopathic Advisory Council, and she's also the preferred naturopathic physician at the Waldorf Astoria spa in Park City, Utah.
Nice gig.
Which is a great place to have your practice at. She advises clients globally. So if you love this interview today, which I know you're going to, and you're looking for a naturopathic doctor to help you, she is definitely one of the people that we recommend, and she can do that. In addition to private practice, she also consults with businesses around the world to help them to successfully implement wellness programs. So if you have a spa like I used to, and you're looking for a doctor, Dr. Trevor Cates is an excellent person to have to do that. And she's also a great friend of ours, so we are so happy to welcome her to our show In Depth. Welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Well, we're thrilled to have you on. We know we always have so much fun with you when we are getting together in person, so this should be equally as enjoyable, hopefully, for our tribe to get to know you as well. So we're just going to start with the very beginning of getting to know Dr. Trevor Cates and finding out, so what made you get into this line of work in the first place? Like, what is your story?
Yeah, we all have a story, right? All of us that do this kind of work, we definitely do. So when I was a kid, when I was about 11 years old, I was sick a lot. I lived in Virginia, and my parents, they took me to a lot of different specialists to try and get me well, a lot of different allergy specialists and ears, nose, and throat doctors. I had my tonsils taken out. I was on a lot of different medications, and they kept trying to do things. I missed school a lot because I was sick all the time. And the one thing that seemed to help was they took me to see a homeopath. It was sort of like their last effort before, because the other doctors were saying, you're just going to have to move away from Virginia because she's allergic to everything. We have nothing else to offer you. So they took me to see a homeopath. And it was the one thing that turned my health around. And ever since then, I've been interested in homeopathy and natural medicine and nutrition. And I know I started at a really early age to transform my life, and then I found that I could help other people down that road as well.
Well, that's awesome. So now you see people all over the world, right? You have a big clientele that it comes to see you there sometimes in Utah, and you can also help people just via probably Skype or phone calls and stuff like that as well?
That's right, that's right. I live in Park City, Utah, which is a teeny little ski town. But people love to travel here and visit, but sometimes people can't come or they don't live here, and so I do a lot of phone appointments, and yeah, it's great. That way I can help people all around the world. These days it's a lot easier than it used to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, we're always learning things about ourselves. What's one of the things that you've learned about yourself recently within the past year that you just kind of even surprised you?
Something I've learned about myself in the last year. Well, last year has been big changes for me in the last few years. I went through a divorce and a lot of big changes for me personally, and I would say that one of the things is that I went back to school and got a master's degree in psychology. And so I learned a lot about, and the reason I did that is I was going through big changes in my own life, so I thought it wouldn't hurt to help me with my own personal issues. But I also found in my practice that I would make recommendations for weight loss programs, for cleanse programs, for diet changes, and people would have resistance to a certain point where I realized there were emotional issues that people have. They were holding them back from making that change. They would say, I understand what you want me to do. I understand that I'm supposed to make this change with my diet, with my lifestyle, but I just can't do it. And then I was beginning to realize there were emotional problems that people were holding people back from making that change in their life. So that's why I went back. I did the master's degree in psychology. It's actually spiritual psychology, which is really interesting. And so now I have this an additional tool in my practice. to help people. Because for me, I kind of, like I said, I started at a really early age learning about nutrition and this kind of healthy lifestyle. But for a lot of people, if they don't get that experience growing up with it, it's new to them as an adult. They have a health problem, they come in, and they're used to a certain way of living, and they just can't make that change. So, so that's one of the biggest things I've learned in the last year is, wow, this is a huge tool for people to help them processing all these different techniques I've learned to help them process emotional issues and really work through that to remove those barriers that hold them back from making that big change in their life.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think a lot of times people don't think about when they go see a doctor or they go see a nutritionist, you know, of course they think to themselves, well, maybe I'm not as disciplined as I could be, or, you know, why is it that I continuously sabotage myself, or what is the root cause of my eating? But oftentimes we don't talk about that as nutritionists. We really just kind of put them on a plan and say, go. I really like that you have both a holistic viewpoint with medicine and nutrition, and then you bring in that that psychology side as well.
Yeah, we always say, like, why, maybe you're just not ready to make the change, but you're actually trying to get them to that point where, why aren't you ready, and what's going on in your head that's causing you to actually not want to follow the plan.
Yeah, because as a naturopathic physician, I'm always trying to find the underlying cause, like what you were saying, Jason, about finding the root cause. What is the underlying reason why somebody is having a health problem? And emotional issues are one of those root causes that hold people back.
Absolutely. So what is your favorite part of your job now?
My favorite part of my job is, gosh, I think it's the biggest, it's such a rewarding career, I think, because people come back to see me and they say, my life is different, my life has changed, I'm pain-free, I don't have these symptoms that I used to have, I finally lost the weight, and it changed my life, and I'm so much happier, and just the rewards that I get from people coming back and saying, you changed my life, and it's so much better. I had no idea I could feel this good at 30, at 40, 50, 60, 70, whatever the age they are. People think they get stuck in these ruts, and even I have 20-year-olds or 30-year-olds that say, is this what life is supposed to be like? Is it just because I'm getting older? And I'm like, no, you don't have to live like this. You can feel good. You can look good. You just have to make these changes, and then you get the results. And when people see that, they say, oh, gosh, I wish I had done this 10 years ago or 15 years ago. I had no idea. And so I love that. I love that part about my job of really helping people see that and make that transformation in their life.
Yeah, I think our clients and our patients often don't realize that that's kind of a universal thing. As a nutritionist or as a doctor or a practitioner in any way, it really is waking up every day and realizing, the results of your patients or your clients are the reason you get out of bed every day. We actually oftentimes joke, I think we care more about our clients sometimes than they care about themselves. And it is really one of the most rewarding parts of any kind of a practice. Now,
I love when they all call. Like, I pick up the phone all the time because that's like my favorite thing to do is when they actually call on the phone, which is rare. Not that we want everyone calling us every day because we have work to do, but it really is just to actually talk to the person and get their story. And it's not often the reward that you thought. It wasn't like I lost the weight. It's like, oh my God, my husband finds me hot again. Or, it's the secondary thing that's often really enjoyable.
Right. No, well, so we've heard about your favorite part of the job. What's your least favorite part about being a naturopathic physician?
Well, gosh, I think probably one of the things is that I wish that naturopathic physicians, it was more widely known what a naturopathic physician is, and unfortunately, in some states, naturopathic physicians aren't licensed, or they don't have the full scope of practice that we're trained to have. So I would say that's one of the things that I feel holds us back. And as more people learn about naturopathic medicine, naturopathic physicians, and that they're primary care doctors, we're trained as primary care physicians with a focus on that more integrative, holistic approach to medicine. And so for me, I love talking about what I do. I was on the board of the American Association of Naturopathic Physicians. I speak a lot. I teach people all the time, go on TV and things, teach them about naturopathic medicine. So I love it, but at the same time, it gets like a naturopathic, a what? A neuro what?
So then for you, what's the primary difference, would you say? Like, let's teach everyone, you know, really quick lesson here. What is the difference between a naturopathic physician and, say, what they're typically used to, which is a regular MD?
Yeah, give us your elevator pitch here.
Right. So naturopathic physicians, we go to a 4-year medical school, and a lot of the coursework is very similar to traditional medical school. But we also, in addition to all the, you know, anatomy, physiology, the, you know, pathology, all of that stuff, we also get training in nutrition, herbal medicine, homeopathy, environmental medicine, physical medicine techniques, and the overall idea, like I was talking about, is trying to find the underlying cause of a person's health problem and then stimulate the body's natural ability to heal itself with the use of that more integrative, holistic approach. So, you know, those modalities that I talked about, nutrition and herbal medicine, homeopathy, those are things that instead of suppressing symptoms, suppressing the body's signals, we're looking to see those as signs the body's out of balance and support the body. And we can prescribe medications, and we certainly can do that when we feel they're necessary. But what the idea is to really start with the least invasive medicine possible. You know, like diet changes and supplements and things like that that support the body. And then when we need them, we have medications, and, you know, if somebody needs surgery or something like that. But it's you know, sort of the last resort rather than the first thing I reach for.
Yeah, that's great. So if somebody really has a holistic viewpoint and loves to use nutrition as part of their way that they stay healthy, but they also are looking for that medical support, then somebody with an ND at the end of their name, correct, they would be someone that they could go to. Yeah,
so naturopathic doctors use ND, naturopathic doctor, or NMD. So you look for either one of those. And yeah, I mean, I think it's great when, you know, especially if somebody's on medication or they might need medication if they have a serious chronic illness that it needs to be monitored and they need to have blood work or lab tests. It's a great idea to see a naturopathic doctor so they get that holistic approach and really can get diagnosed and treated with their medical condition.
That's fantastic. We're going to get a little silly here, get a little bit light with you, and find out what is your favorite food. Like, what do you just love to make and love to eat or go out and eat?
Well, gosh, you know, I love food. I love to eat, and I like so many different foods. I guess, you know, I'm my biggest weakness in a way I would say would be dark chocolate. I love dark chocolate, and of course I always try to, you know, be careful with how much I have. But, you know, we know the benefits, some of the health benefits of dark chocolate now, so I'm not going to totally hold myself back from that. But you know, I guess that's one of my favorite things. I love Indian food and Thai food. Those are some of my favorites. Kind of those yummy spices, the curries, and we know the anti-inflammatory effects of some of the spices that are in curries. So gotta love that.
Yeah, well, that's
some of our favorite foods. So next time we all go out to dinner, we should probably go either Thai or Indian. Now that we know we all love it so much.
Now, let's say you could do anything else on the planet. You're not going to go into the field of holistic medicine of any kind. What else would you do?
For work or for hobby? Or?
For work.
Gosh, I really don't know. Something that would let me travel a lot, because I certainly love to travel, and I love being out in the outdoors. I love being active. You know, I live in a little ski town, and I've just spent the whole weekend skiing really steep and gnarly stuff. Actually, one run I went into yesterday, I had to hold onto a rope to get down into it. So maybe it would be, I don't know, like ski patrol or something like that. Something totally crazy.
Adventurous and fun.
On the world to European ski resorts and do, I don't know, something crazy like that.
Well, we're going to skip to the next question then, because it seems the obvious one. If you could go anywhere on the planet on a dream vacation, where are you going?
Wow, I don't know. Maybe I would go back to India and just study yoga, go to an ashram or something, just be zen for a while.
Sounds good. One of our favorite places that we travel.
Yeah, I would love India. Now, so okay, let's talk a little bit about some of these programs that you have. I know that you've been putting together. You've got a 21-day healthy habits program. You've got a 3 weeks cleanse program. So some of the people who might be listening right now, these programs might be right up their alley. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about your new 3 weeks cleanse program.
Okay, so the cleanse program I've been developing over the last 14 years that I've been in practice, and a lot of it's based upon diet, and there's so many different cleanse programs out there, right? So people are always asking me, how do I do this? What is the right thing to do? What is a cleanse program? What's it for? Should I do it or should I not? So I have my own cleanse program that I do, and over the years I've developed this, and it's not a juice fast. Some people think of a cleanse as just a fast, which I also do with some of my patients. But for most people, I feel like cleanse is a good place to start. And it's really important, I find, because we are constantly bombarded in our environment, in our air, and our water, our food, our personal care products with toxins, right? So we're constantly being exposed to things. And it affects our liver, our kidneys, our digestive system, starts to be affected by these things, and eventually it can affect our entire body. So doing a cleanse program, the idea is I have a dietary component to it where I tell people specifically during this program what to eat, what to avoid, and the idea is these are foods that we're avoiding things that we're allergic to. We're doing more of an anti-inflammatory diet and things that support the liver and the kidneys and the colon. And then also I'm teaching people how to avoid toxins in their environment. What are things that they can start doing right away to reduce exposure in their food, in their air, in their water, and all these different things. And then also I'm going to recommend things that they can do to improve the body's ability to eliminate the toxins that are stored up in the body. And I have different techniques that I recommend. After working in a spa for a while, I found that there are certain spa techniques that really help with certain hydrotherapy techniques to really help with detoxification, as well as certain supplements too that will help with the removal of toxins from the body. And then another thing that I've added in the last couple of years is the emotional toxin release. So there are certain techniques that I teach people on releasing emotional toxins, because when people do, what I found, and this is one of the programs that I was doing, I found that people would have emotional things coming up while they were doing a cleanse. So I help people work through those, release those emotional toxins so they can really have the full effects of the cleanse. And I do this program, I used to always do it one-on-one with people, and now I've found a way to do it sort of a virtual program. So it's four calls, and we do them live, but they're also recorded for people who can't listen in. And then I have worksheets and handouts and all of this that people can do and get the full benefits without having to come to Park City.
So what would be, let's give the people watching today just one fantastic tip, like one of your favorite tips for something to do that they can start doing immediately in their life that would help with the toxins in their life, either emotional or through their actual body, physical ones.
Well, I think one of the things, I know you guys teach a lot about food and about hidden ingredients in foods and how to avoid those things, but a lot of people aren't aware of the personal care products that they use and all the different toxins that are in those. Our skincare products, even men, aftershave, shaving lotions, deodorants, hair products, shampoos, conditioners, soaps. All of these things, if you put something on your skin, it can be absorbed through your skin into your bloodstream. So if you wouldn't put it in your mouth, you probably don't want to put it on your body. And so, start looking at your personal care products and what's in those ingredients. If you can't pronounce it, if you don't know what it is, look it up, because you might find that some of these things are carcinogenic and they have endocrine disrupting effects, hormone disrupting effects. So I think it's a really important thing for people to start paying attention to.
Yeah, absolutely it is. In fact, it's one of the things that we do want to start focusing a little bit more on. You know, now that we've taken people through the grocery store in our book, Rich Food, Poor Food, it's absolutely something that I think people should be looking at with their shampoos and their conditioners. Now, do you have one, give us one ingredient that somebody could look at maybe in their shampoo or that you'd recommend staying away from? Do you have one just off the top of your head?
Well, there's so many harmful ingredients, but you know, one of the things to simply look for is fragrance. Artificial fragrance it's got some hormone disrupting effects. A lot of those chemicals that are used for fragrances, and it's an easy one to realize because if you can smell it, it's going to have fragrance in it. So
Yeah.
what is the fragrance? Is it an essential oil? Well, that might be okay, but is it something else? Then it probably is something that you should avoid.
Great point. Now let's talk a little bit about your 21-day Healthy Habits program. Now, how is that different than the cleanse? What will they learn? And are they good programs to do in unison?
Yeah, they can definitely. People can do these in unison. The 21-day Healthy Habits Challenge is a free online program, and this is what I created this because it was one of the things I realized that people kept saying, I know I'm supposed to make these changes, but how do I start making them? So it's 21 days of healthy habits to help people make a change, to shift away from those unhealthy habits to healthier habits, and make that transformation in 21 days. And it only takes 10 minutes a day to do each one of these challenges, and they vary from food tips, exercise, to emotional release. You know, it's a variety of different, you know, or what's lurking in your pantry. What are the hidden food ingredients that you need to be looking for? What are some ways you can reduce toxins in your environment? Each one of these 21 challenges is different, and I found that these are the 21 most essential healthy habits that people can have. So this one is completely free. People just go on my website, drtrevorcates.com, and sign up for that one. That one's completely free, and the cleanse program is only $97.
That's great. That's great. Yeah. Do you have any tricks that would help us to drop an unhealthy habit that you can give us right now?
Yeah, one of the things that I tell people is that if, you know, when I've surveyed people, my patients and people that do the challenge, they have a quiz they fill out, and the number one thing that unhealthy habit that people have is those food cravings. You know, especially it seems like things like chocolate, you know, peanut M&Ms or things like that. You know, that they just can't drop those. So what I suggest, one thing you can try is if you're right-handed, you know, it's your dominant hand that you usually reach for to those unhealthy habits. Try doing it with your left hand, your non-dominant hand. And when you reach for something with your non-dominant hand, it causes you to pause for a moment because you're doing it differently. You know, your brain, the signals are different. So then you have that opportunity in that moment when you pause to think, do I really need this? There's something else I can reach for. And then so having other options, you know, chopped up vegetables and things like that around you instead, so you think, oh, I don't really need this, I'll grab this instead. So that's a tip to get started.
Very good.
Yep.
So I think that we're going to jump back into asking a little bit more about yourself as a person and ask you what your least favorite word is.
My least favorite word. We have to keep this clean, right?
That's your choice. No one's gone there yet, but.
Gosh, you know. That's a good question. I don't really know that I have a least favorite word. I don't know. I honestly, what are some ideas of other people?
Well, a lot of people don't like the word can't or, you know, oh my goodness.
GMO, I think some people say.
GMOs, they hate those.
Like pesticide probably would be a bad one.
What one?
Pesticides.
Pesticides. Okay, good word.
Oh, that's a good one.
Now, let's say you could meet anybody in the world today and sit down, have dinner with them, have a conversation with them. Who would you want to meet?
I would probably say, just off the top of my head, I'm thinking of the Dalai Lama. It would be fascinating to be around someone with that kind of presence. Actually, my parents have met him, so I'm so envious of them that they got to meet him and sit down next to him, have lunch with him at an event. So, but apparently he's an amazing person, and just being near him is a pretty incredible experience.
Yeah. When we were in Tibet, we were with a gentleman who collects old, rare books, and he was having dinner with the Dalai Lama about a month later, and we were collecting a whole bunch of text that the monks were giving us at the temples. Yeah.
And of course, they stopped us, and when we were trying to actually leave the country, we got stopped and everything. But he did eventually get the text back to the Dalai Lama, so that was good. So I guess we're going to end with the same question we ask everybody, because this is really where we want to hear your thoughts. What is your hope for the future of food and health in America?
Well, gosh, I feel like there's so much that we do know, but I feel like much of it is within the same circles. Like the people that you speak to and the people I speak to, there's a lot of overlap. So my hope is that we can disseminate this information that we know, this information we have that we know can really help people live healthier lives, to get more people throughout the world. And the United States is a really great place to start, because we know worldwide we need a lot of work, but even in the United States, there's a big part of our country that needs a lot of help with changing these sorts of lifestyle issues of healthy eating and exercise, stress management. There's so much that we can do to help people, and so I guess my big thing is to get more information out to more people, to reach more people. How can we reach the people that need the most?
Right. Well, for people who've been watching this and they want to get in touch with you, if they want to do some of your programs with you, if they want to maybe even hire you as their naturopathic physician, how can they reach you?
Well, people can go to my website at drtrevorcates.com. So it's drtrevorcates.com. And all my information's on there. There's my phone number and my email address, and all that is on my website. So
and the program links probably are there as well, just so they can get and enjoy the program. When does this cleanse start again?
The cleanse starts. The first call is April 21st. And again, these calls are recorded, so anytime that week people can sign up. But after that week, it's going to people would be off track with everybody else. So that's the best time, because doing it as a group is good, because these calls are going to be live, and we'll have a Q&A, and it's a great opportunity for people to do this together. And I'm going to have a group Facebook and all that sort of thing. So it's a nice community.
Fantastic. Well, we'll get this out to everyone ahead of that so that they can all sign up at the right time.
It's been fantastic chatting with you today. Again, everyone, this has been Dr. Trevor Cates with us and on In Depth. Now, again, if you haven't seen some of the different shows that we've been doing on Calton Nutrition TV, if you haven't checked out House Calls, if you haven't checked out Treadmill Talk, we encourage you to do that. And thank you very, very much for joining us. Trevor, thank you very much for coming and speaking with us today. And we'll see you all again next time on In Depth. Thanks everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Perfect. Well,